Welcome to the operation of the Walmart car fridge. We have looked at many coolers, from just plain coolers to refrigerators, because we, not only having a problem with having available ice while camping, but the inability to make enough ice at home. We are retired and looking into doing a lot of travel, and have not only built our own folding camper where all of the parts are separable. Oh, stop the laughing! Because my intent was to make everything go away as needed, but have several things with multiple uses. Stop with the wrinkly jokes. We have videos out on the camper, so I won't talk of it here. But there are some parts of the camper that deserve to have their own videos. This fridge happens to be one of them. Another thing that we were watching for was finance and dual usage. We not only had limited funds to do this, we needed it to be able to function in the camper and in the house. In our house, we have a refrigerator and a deep freeze that allowed for more meat. Initially, the deep freeze was used to make ice for a bedroom cooler that worked fairly well, cooling down the bed area. I have a video out on it. We then run into full-time retirement and became eligible for food assistance, which also brought in more food, especially for the deep freeze. Okay, off the rambling and onto the car fridge. One of the qualifications for getting this fridge was that we have to be able to make ice mobile, as in at a campsite. We needed a cooler, chiller, fridge to not only fill a gap at home problem of lack of room and ice, but also to be used as a portable ice maker and fridge. Well, this particular fridge has been put through the paces, and although it makes ice, it is at a snail's pace. I had 16 trays in my test run, and it took 14 hours to make most of them ice. I had to change my plan. Now I make all the ice I need to start at home. When I take off, I pull the ice trays, put all the ice trays in the car fridge, and transfer the ice on site to the bike trailer. When we arrive at the campsite, which is coincidentally a nice size cooler which fits into the storage room of my camper. This is the blueprint of the camper. The arrow is pointing to the storage room. It fits nicely in the back. I have an e-bike that pulls this trailer when needed. Sometimes I have to get more water, and I take 2-gallon jugs to a water source and bring it back. Wait, you thought I would carry it? I need a pile of ice for this bike cooler, which is why I make so much ice at home. I did say 16 trays of ice in the freezer at home. When we go camping, our prep time is minimal. By the way, this bike cooler's ice is only to be used for drinks. After all, this is only a cooler. The bottled eggs, water, or wash rag for first aid and drinks will be carried in the left basket of the fridge. Remember, no ice is needed, as this is a fridge. At home, I will freeze enough ice for at least 2 days at all times. Remember, camp ice isn't the only thing I'm making ice for. I also make ice for a bedroom chiller. It has a blower that is hung inside the front. You place the fan at the front and pour ice in the compartment directly behind it, which is adjustable. You can move the panel backward or even take it out for the most ice. We also have 2 of them. We use them for the camper during the spring and fall. We don't camp in the summer months because the heat outside is just too much. Besides, spring and fall are more colorful. The fan on medium will blow all night. This I know. My trips are typically 4 days, so on the 3rd day I plan on picking up more ice unless we are visiting places which makes us stop for gas and ice so it isn't out of the way. Chances are I'm not going to need it. And I'm sorry, rambling again. The best place to get ice 24/7 is Twice the Ice. 16-pound bag for $4, and they provide the bags. Now, we take a look at the power for this car fridge. It is a 12-volt DC input that uses an AC power brick and a 12-volt DC adapter. It doesn't say it, but should you want to take it to the beach, you can grab a backpack and throw in 1 or more alarm batteries. The batteries won't be that heavy, and you can wire on a male plug to plug into the DC power cord supplied. When we have the fridge in the camper, we have it plugged into a marine battery and put it in eco mode, which will be explained in a minute, unless I start to ramble, to which I apologize. 2 other sort of requirements of this fridge were that it should have wheels because it could get heavy, and a handle to pull it. I wish I had a pull-out handle, but this is what it has, and for the price, it works for me. As a fridge, if you get a combo unit, as in fridge and freezer, you will lose space because of 2 different temperatures, and we are very short on space. Here is how the system works. This camper fridge is going to become my freezer at home because I am tired of things falling out of the freezer at home. My home freezer is now dedicated to ice cream and trays of ice. Okay, let's zoom in and get my impressions of this car fridge. First off, I am very impressed with the color. The dark color actually makes it look cleaner than if it were white. It will never look dingy. Point in their favor. The other end is so clean with the easy to read controls on the end of it. The best part of this is the lid locks down instead of having to push it snug shut. That is an impressive detail. You will notice the plug on the bottom of the control side. Here's where they get the 3-way power. It is actually a 12-volt DC input only. This car fridge is not a 3-way powered unit. It is 1 way with 3 inputs, which is also very cool. one DC input with an AC power brick. That is what they call it. Call it what you want. A 12-volt DC power cord, or you can use one or more alarm panel batteries in parallel in a backpack and take it to the beach. The backpack is to protect the batteries. Do not mount them on the unit fridge. Now, let's take a look on the inside. There are 2 baskets, a divider, and a really bright light inside. This is an extreme plus, where you will find another one of my changes. At home, this car fridge will be used as my almost library book scenario of food in a freezer, which is quick and accessible. Not only that, but when we buy food, we buy in bulk. And break it down. Food such as a log of bologna or hamburger and a section of bone and ham, and cut and slice and mince everything and put them in sandwich-sized containers and put them in the baskets. I realize I'm going into a lot of detail, but this unit is just too good to not utilize it at its best. Not only for what it has, but for the price, it works great. Now, let's take a look at the control panel. To the left, we have a big plus and minus. These are your adjusters. Move right, and you have LEDs, HH, Eco, and Run. Here is where you save money on your electric bill. HH is in its standard operation mode. This is 2 color lights. Green means Eco compressor is running. Eco means economy. Red means HH is running. Run LED is also a 2 color light. When the unit is off and plugged in, it will be red, indicating power is available. When it is on and the compressor is running, it will be green. Next, we have the temperature gauge. It reads in Celsius and Fahrenheit. The screen is used to tell you what the present parameter is. Please do not be afraid of being in this area, and will give you the most out of this unit. When you first power the unit up, it will show the temperature inside the unit, and after a moment, the compressor will kick in. It has to be the quietest compressor I have ever not heard, probably because it is a 12-volt compressor. You will feel it vibrate ever so slightly. When the compressor is off, the light will be off too. If you don't want it on yet, simply press the power button for a few seconds and it will shut off. I made a statement earlier that I was also going to use this unit for the freezer operation at home. So here is how you set the temperature. I will set it to 20 because 32 is freezing. and no store has their freezer set lower, or food will freeze in their packages. No worries, ice cream will be put in my regular freezer. Change the temperature by simply pressing the plus or minus buttons and dial in your desired settings. The reading will start to flash, letting you know you are altering it, and if you are running the temperature down, the compressor will kick in. This unit will go down to -4. Because it's so small, it should last a long time. If you're like me and want to know all the bells and whistles, let's go to advanced settings. Press the set button for longer than 3 seconds and the display will start to flash, indicating you are in the advanced mode. Low voltage protection battery monitoring. This is where you set the voltage so that the unit will shut down before it drains your battery on your device. This way, you will never be stranded with a dead battery. I use a marine battery in my camper, so mine is set for 11 volts to match my camper's inverter shutdown. Should this happen, once you restore the power to the unit, it will automatically turn on. This is good because you can see you could be so busy you forget. This unit has 3 levels of running: H1, H2, and H3. The battery shutdown monitor responds faster in the H3 mode. The battery monitor on the screen is not on the unit, so don't look for it. Each mode is for when the unit should shut off, and restart based on the battery. The range is 9.6 to 11.4. See the user manual for detailed info. I would not suggest fooling with it for risk of burning up the compressor. If the low voltage protection occurs, the display will show F1. Ours shuts off at 11.6. To change your desired H level to run at, simply long press the set button until the display shows the present H level. At this time, press the plus or minus to change your desired level. If your cooler is freshly full of food, don't hesitate to change your protection level to Eco mode, also indicated by green light on Eco. Long press the set button until the display flashes. Once it starts to flash, repress the set button one more time to see HH or Eco. Use the plus or minus to change this setting from HH to Eco mode. When the Eco flashes on, allow the display to settle. This is now set to in Eco. Repeat the procedure to go back to HH mode. The reason you need to remember these settings is because you want the unit in Eco while you are on site to spare the battery, as the compressor speed is reduced, and since the food inside is still cold, it will stay that way. Now, I have a special process in prepping for camping. I stated earlier that I put 16 ice trays in my freezer to keep as much ice as possible available, because it is used for much more than just camping. I move the ice in the camp fridge to this cooler to make room for the new ice. Once the ice is moved from the freezer to the camp fridge, I add 2 blue bottles to the left as space takers. Then I move the camp fridge, full of ice still in the trays, to the truck and plug it into the 12-volt socket in the truck to keep the ice cold. I then move the cooler of food from the cooler to the freezer. The camping food, which we will be eating at camp, goes into this cooler, and this cooler is put next to the camp fridge in the back of the truck. Now, I go camping. Upon my arrival, I take the ice out of the camp fridge and put it in the bike trailer cooler, and put the bike trailer in the storage room of the camper. This is the blueprint of the camper. Where the arrow is, it will fit in the back very nicely. I put the now empty camp fridge under the kitchen in the camper. Open it up, put 4 to 6 trays of water in the deep side, and move the food from the cooler to the fridge, making sure to put bottles of eggs, water, 1 wash rag for first aid, and soda in the shallow side. By the way, the condiments and stuff, such as ketchup, mustard, relish, etc., with 2 bottles of ice, go into a separate cooler. This cooler is put in the camp sink. Now, plug the fridge into the battery next to it. This battery has been tested to keep the fridge functional for, yes, 24 hours, and it is recommended that each morning at breakfast you boost charge the battery, because you are also going to charge the DeWalt batteries as well. Those are for fans and lights. So, start the truck for charging the battery and have a good breakfast. The fridge can afford to be unplugged for this period of time. Don't forget to dump the fridge ice into the bike cooler. Some will be water. I don't care. The bag that you put in the cooler should have a hole in it to drain the water. The drain will out, as we are not saving water. If you put in the bottle, put in a bottle, it is drinkable. Once the DeWalt batteries are charged, change the volt on the battery. Check the voltage on the camper battery. Disconnect the truck from the camper battery when you do this. If the battery is above 12.4, shut off the truck. Rehook the battery back to the camper. During this time, someone should be doing the dishes. The light on the camper fridge will come on in a minute, meaning it has started. Make sure the camper fridge is still on eco mode by the top, LED being green. Put the 4 to 6 trays of ice back in the deep part of the camper fridge and reload the food. This cycle of charging the batteries, moving the ice, refilling the fridge will happen every morning after breakfast. If done right, you will be good for electricity, water, and ice for your trip. However, sometimes you use more ice than expected. Don't use the fridge ice. Go to Twice the Ice and buy a 16-pound bag for $4. They supply the bags. They are 24/7 in most cities. Google it for a location. That is how amazing this camping car secondary dorm fridge, whatever you use it for, is. Have fun.